Story that's coming in from the southern state of Karnataka, where members of a pro-Kannada group have blackened Hindi signboards outside metro stations in Bengaluru this Thursday morning. Meanwhile, the city police have arrested about 10 people in connection with the incident. Now, earlier, the pro-Kannada groups, which goes by the name Karnataka Rakshana Vedike, had given 2 weeks' time to the state government to remove the Hindi signboards. Now, the group's chief has claimed that the metro project was a state government project and there was no necessity for signboards in Hindi. And also, the counting of votes polled in India's 14th presidential election will take place today. The counting of votes will begin at 11 a.m. and the results are expected to be out by 5 p.m. later in the evening. Now, a total of 768 MPs and 4,083 MLAs voted in the election. An unprecedented 99% of votes were cast this time round, and Arunachal Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Assam, Bihar, Gujarat, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, Nagaland, Uttarakhand and Puducherry recorded 100% polling. Now, the numbers clearly favour NDA's presidential nominee Ram Nath Kovind against the opposition nominee Meira Kumar. And for more on this, we are joined in by our colleague Raghavendra. Raghavendra, this is of course an important date. Today is the day when the counting of votes will take place. The vote counting will start from about 11 a.m. this morning. So what is the sense that we get here? Ram Nath Kovind, of course, has a clear advantage in terms of the parties and the candidates, in terms of the voters who had backed him.
That's correct, Mohammed, and it's a foregone conclusion now that the NDA's presidential nominee, Mr. Ram Nath Kovind, is likely to sail through rather comfortably, and he's going to be elected as the 14th president of India. The voting, as you said, the counting rather, as you said, begins at 11 o'clock. It is expected to go on till 5 o'clock if required, but we are given to understand that it may wrap up a little before than that. Around 4,800 plus votes which are to be counted. All the votes which were cast in the state assemblies, they have also been brought to Delhi and they will be counted within the Parliament House complex today. We are given to understand that 4 counting tables will be set up and there will be 8 rounds of counting, after which the final results will be announced. Given the fact that NDA had comfortable numbers going into this election, it will be no surprise at all that Ram Nath Kovind will manage to sail through comfortably. What remains to be seen, though, is the margin of his victory amidst murmurs and rumors that there has been a substantial amount of cross-voting which might have happened from the opposition camp. Several parties, including the Samajwadi Party, are learnt to have voted in favor of Mr. Kovind despite being with the opposition bloc. So his margin of victory is something which all eyes will be on.
That's absolutely correct, Raghavendra. Now, the margin of the victory is what everyone will be watching closely. But this presidential election is going to be viewed for the amount of unity or disunity which the opposition has. Because clearly, there was this Mahagathbandhan that had been forged ahead of the presidential election, stating that, look, the only way the opposition can perhaps counter the Modi juggernaut is for all opposition parties to come together. But at its very first hurdle, that is the presidential polls, we see that there are key members of this Mahagathbandhan who were, instrumental in coming up with this Mahagathbandhan, who appear not to be siding up with the opposition here.
Well, absolutely, and this so-called Mahagathbandhan and this unified opposition, it fell through right before the presidential election process began, when Janata Dal United and Nitish Kumar, they decided to break ranks with the opposition and said that they will vote for Mr. Ram Nath Kovind. So yes, the opposition fold is trying very hard to put up a united front against the ruling government, but it's proving to be a hell of a task for them, because keeping these parties together, keeping this flock together is not proving to be easy at all. Now, Samajwadi Party, which is one of the main constituents of the opposition bloc, even Samajwadi Party, the fact that it can have differences of opinion opinion, just because Mulayam Singh Yadav and his son Akhilesh Yadav are not on the same page as far as voting for the presidential elections are concerned, things like these go a long way in hampering any attempts at, unity and providing a united front in wake of a very strong opponent. So yes, this so-called Mahagathbandhan and this so-called attempts at forming a coalition of sorts against the Modi government, as of now, it is not yielding much results.
Raghvendra, if I can just ask you this question. The 2019 polls were said to be Modi versus the rest. But with Mahagathbandhan having failed at its very first test, will the talk of Mahagathbandhan now, will it be completely over?
I reckon not, because, the survival of many political parties, many political leaders in the opposition fold will depend on, the kind of fight or, they can put up to the Modi government going into the 2019 Lok Sabha polls, and, the kind of noises they can make in the run-up to those elections. Now, we have seen that, opposition parties have not really managed to, create much of an impact as far as, countering the Modi government is concerned. But as we near the 2019 Lok Sabha elections, I reckon these noises, these murmurs will gain ground once again, because that is what these parties would want to do going into the next Lok Sabha elections. That is something on which their political survival will depend upon. And there are leaders within the opposition fold, be it Nitish Kumar, be it Mulayam Singh Yadav, even Mamta Banerjee. Now these are leaders who have been who see themselves as potential prime ministerial candidates. The fact that Rahul Gandhi, the vice president of the Congress party, has not really managed to assert himself or project himself as the leader of a unified opposition also has, thrown up a situation where many of these regional satraps are, seeing an opportunity in cobbling up a united kind of a front against the government. So I reckon as we go into the 2019 elections, we will see more and more talk of a unified opposition, a Mahagathbandhan. This talk is not going to die anytime soon. Mohammed?
Absolutely, Raghvendra. Do continue to stay on with us. We'll, of course, come back to you for more inputs. Well, let's also take a look at this, as India is all set to welcome its 14th president. Here is a profile of Ram Nath Kovind, a little-known man who otherwise had kept a low profile, but is now, of course, leading the race to be India's first citizen.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is known for his surprises. And it was indeed a surprise when, amid speculation over some big political names, Bihar Governor Ram Nath Kovind was declared the NDA's presidential candidate. His candidature was clearly a political masterstroke as the opposition struggled to respond, eventually announcing Meira Kumar's candidature for the contest. But the newest resident of Rashtrapati Bhavan is a man with humble beginnings who has risen to the highest post in the country today. Ram Nath Kovind is a Dalit leader from Derapur Tehsil of Kanpur Dehat, Uttar Pradesh. He trained and practiced as a lawyer before becoming personal secretary to then Prime Minister Morarji Desai in 1977. He made an unsuccessful attempt for the Lok Sabha but became a member of Rajya Sabha twice in 1994 and 2006. Kovind represented India at the United Nations and addressed the United Nations General Assembly in October 2002. In 2014, he became the governor of Bihar. As the presidential candidate, Kovind was acceptable even to many opposition parties who voted for him in the election. Bureau Report, WION.